we are going to be installing a 7-pin adapter today. It's got two 7-pins on one end and a 7-pin on the other, and so it's going to tie into the factory 7-pin plug, and then the other Y of that is going to go in the truck to retain the rear bumper pole 7-pin, and then there'll be another end routed into the bed of the truck that we're going to be using for our gooseneck hitch. There's a lot of manufacturers of these. This one is made by Hopkins. I found it on Amazon. It was the only one that would ship within a day or two to my location, so that's the one we went with. I know Curtis makes one. It was going to be like 2 or 3 weeks to get it here, so we went ahead and went with this one. So we'll video document the entire install process. It looks like it's going to be pretty easy, but stay tuned. Here is what the box looked like. It's shipped with this, so I'm not going to open the box because I have a shipping label on the other end of that, but it comes with the instruction sheet, and it comes with this is, I believe, a 7-foot wire. And so here's the one that's going to go into the existing plug, wiring harness plug from the truck. The other end is going to go back on the 7-pin here, okay? It's going to go back on this so that you retain your use of that. And then the other end of this is going to be fed up into the bed of the truck, and that's going to connect to this, which will be mounted in the bed of the truck. And we're probably going to mount it right around in that vicinity right there, I believe. And we're going to be cutting a 2 1/8 inch hole with the hole saw and then mounting that in. It should be a pretty easy install, but that'll keep us from having to dangle this out, because this is not really ideal, because in a wide turn, this can get caught on the gooseneck and pull it out. It's actually happened before. Only had this trailer for a few days, and it took a couple days for this just to get here. So, and I had to move the trailer. You know, this is going to be a permanent fix, having the wire in the bed with the gooseneck hitch. So here we are up underneath the truck on the side with the 7-pin, and there is the connector right there. And so you're gonna take that connector out, and this is kind of hard to video, but you can take this out, and I already popped the tab off just because of the angle and everything. Okay, so that's the tab. Right there is going to be the tab, and that comes off like that. That's where it goes into the 7-pin on the back of the Duramax. This side is going to go back in the truck. This side is going to go back into our wiring loom. So this side goes back in the truck. So we went ahead and we lowered our spare tire. That's going to give us a lot more access up here to these plugs, and we're not going to have to fight with it. So I would recommend doing that. It's very, very easy and quick to lower your donuts, so that's give you a lot more room to work with. So that's what we ended up doing. So now we're going to hook up the connectors to this, and then we'll be right back. We've connected this to the wiring harness, and make sure it pinches in, because it doesn't seem to latch. It goes in further than you would think, is all I'm saying. Make sure you actually hear it latch. And then this other end goes back in here. Push that in. There you go. See, you hear it latch. So make sure you hear them both latch. It's very important. You don't want these to come undone, especially if you're towing a lot of weight. And so then I'm gonna zip tie this up here, right here where my hand is, just to kind of keep it up out of the way. And then we're gonna run this very neatly up along the driver's side. I'm going to find a good path for it. The next step is the instructions tell us to drill a 2 1/8 inch hole. I don't have 2 1/8 inch hole saw. I have a 2 inch and a 2 1/4. And so what I always do anytime we're cutting into metal, because these have the tendency to kind of spin around and jump around when they're on metal, and so I always drill out a piece of board first, because that helps us keep it from moving around quite as much. And so what I found is that 2 1/4 gave us a lot of slop. It was a lot of slop. And the 2 inch actually didn't give us a lot of slop. It was just, actually the 2 inch fit pretty good. So that is a good way for you to tell if 2-inch is going to work. Now, this might vary with you know, saw by saw. Cut a hole in a piece of wood and see if it's, you know, if it's good and tight in there. If it's too tight, you know, you can make it bigger. But this is good. So we're going to use our 2-inch, and we're going to go ahead and cut this. I'm probably going to put it right around in here. I gotta look for where the gas tank is and make sure I'm not causing a problem. I want to be able to run the loom over the wheel well and come that way. It'll be the easiest way that I don't have to do a lot with the wiring. So my fuel tank is about right here, and I don't want to hit this the hose that allows you to fill up. So I'm going to put it right around in here. I'm going to go ahead and let this drill. I'm just going to start a hole with it basically. Okay. Just started the hole. That's all I was doing. I'm going to feed this in here. Go back to the hole. And I got to find a way that I want to hold this. Alright, so I made a real good hole. Right inside the plastic fender well is where that ended up being, which is good. I like that. I'm going to go grab a file and file out the edges. But this is an excellent trick. Normally those things scootle around a lot. They'll really screw up the spray and bed liners, especially the plastic bed liners. I've seen them crack them. So you always use this as a guide. It just keeps it from jumping around as much. And in this case, it's easy if it's on the ground because you stand on it, but you can kind of hold it with your feet. And so I'm going to file that down, and I'll be right back. We're just going to see if that fits. It fits very good. Very little play in this. That was with a 2-inch hole. Like I said, it calls for a 2 1/8, but 2-inch works for me. Always, cut this and see if it fits, and that'll make sure you're solid. So we'll put that there. So now I'm going to feed the wire over the wheel well. We'll be good to go. This is going to be a really quick project. I went underneath. I cut a piece of Romex just because I have tons of it. I cut like a 6-foot piece, and I fed Romex up underneath the plastic wheel liner until where it came out on this side here. Okay, I hooked the Romex and kind of just electrical taped it. I'm going to use that to pull that through. Could get that just a little bit started up there. It should be okay once it gets started. There it goes right here. Fantastic. All right, so I saw a little piece where it came over right here. I'm just going to let that go up there closer to that. Actually, I'm going to go on top of that spring. Okay, so it goes up there. And now that I have that in the wheel well, I'm going to get a helper, and that's about right where my hole is. I'm going to, actually, you know what, son of a, I think I can grab that right there. That's good enough. I can grab it. I'm going to get in the bed and grab it from there. We ran that down this, and I can feel the loom right here, and I'm just kind of going to slowly work that back. Even with the file, it's still a little sharp around the edges, so be careful. In fact, I might try to, there we go. There we go. All right, so the loop can't come in, but we're going to go ahead and snap this in. There we go. It's snapped in. It's not coming out. That is just borderline to be able to get that. And I'm going to go down there. I'm going to spin that wire because I'm kind of fighting the slack. So I'm going to because I can actually turn it upside down and around easier. I think 2 1/8 would have been better. Would have given us more slack to get that in, but it's doable on a 2-inch for sure. But I'm gonna move the wire around just because I'm kind of feel like I'm binding, and it might be because I'm so close to that plastic fender wall, or I might just spin it around. Let me go look how it looks from on the underside, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I gave myself a little bit more slack in the back side of that fender. What the problem was with it not wanting to go all the way in was actually that the connector is facing this way, and it's up against this wheel well. So if I had to do it over again, I would have moved this down a few more inches. It's gonna be a little bit of pain, but I'm gonna use these self-tapping screws that it came with, and I'm gonna just kind of push hard and do it with my hand. I guess I could do it with this little drill bit here. Yeah, I'll do it with this. We're pretty straight there, so I'm just gonna before I mess up, I'm going to make sure that those work before I do the others, in case I have kind of a looser hole. And they do, so I can definitely use this drill bit for the rest. Still kind of having to push a little bit, but that's a good thing, because I wanted to make sure that this has time to make the threads. That's tight. Yep, that's not going anywhere. It's weather sealed. The next thing we're going to do real quick is we are going to bring up our spare tire. Okay. So I'm going to get some of this off. And it comes with dielectric grease, which I actually put in the back side of that. And that's not going to get wet. That's what I really like about that. Okay. It's in there. So now I won't have to worry about it getting caught on the ball hitch when I'm turning on a steeper angle. So that worked out pretty good, and took under an hour. So that's a pretty good detail that it comes with. We got the 7-pin in and mounted. I plugged it in. We're gonna go start up the truck and make sure it says trailer connected. As long as it says trailer connected, we're good to go. Oh, my keys are here. Let's see what we got here. Normally it says trailer connected. It's iPhone. Trailer connected. Fantastic. Okay, so that concludes our video on the 7-pin harness that we put in the back of the truck of the 2015 Sierra. It was a pretty easy install. I would say taking less than an hour. And all you really need is a drill and a hole saw. And everything else can be done with handheld tools, screwdriver type stuff. And it was pretty easy. So definitely like and subscribe, and we'll keep bringing more videos of things we do on the farm. Thanks.